Guys, did you know that Nick Fuentes, bit of a grifter? No, I'm shocked. Nick Fuentes is a liar and a charlatan, has always been a fucking flip-flopper, and some of his fans are apparently taking a little bit of a notice. We'll get into that specifically. But Nick Fuentes, well, this was a bit of a while ago, has been pushing ahead with these sort of like nonsensical like Pax Americana bullshit. Despite the fact that he has also tweeted before that Trump called to reinvade Afghanistan, vowed to help Ukraine defeat Russia, and is currently pushing for regime change in Venezuela. Well, that's a little interesting. So he said this accurately criticizing Trump, and now all of a sudden you were rah for the regime change attempt within specifically Venezuela? Because we've seen the tweet. He has praised Trump for the very quick, bloodyless, about 100 people died, and clean grab that the Trump administration did of Nicolas Maduro. 100 people died, Nick Fuentes, but they're all stinky brown Venezuelans, so you're okay with seemingly their deaths, as expected from this complete charlatan fucking freak. Fuentes also in 2019, I think that an intervention in Venezuela is well within our interests. The Western Hemisphere belongs to America. Most consistent man in the game. What do you mean? I'm sensing an inconsistency here. Consistency? Well, that's a little interesting. He had a problem with regime change in Venezuela, but he said that he's okay with regime change in Venezuela now? That's a little interesting. And him also talking about the Monroe Doctrine as well, or the Monroe Doctrine, you know? I don't think this is consistency in the way that you think it is, Nick. That's not what this means. If you were consistent in your positions, then you wouldn't have fucking tweeted this. Again, the only reason why Nick Fuentes says anything specifically is for one reason only. He's looking to build up some form of a political brand to basically go ahead with the fact that he wants some like idiot, dumb fuck, conspiratorial, anti-Semitic, populist right-wing uprising from the rotting corpse that is MAGA. And the funniest thing about this is he really does not like his own fans. Like, we've talked about this before, but the inconsistency of the fascist is something that should always be significantly examined and looked into. They are inconsistent about basically everything, and they don't believe in much of anything. Again, this is also the same dude that has said that there should not be a literacy test to go ahead and vote, because one of his like dipshit groypers donated for that specifically, to ask about that specifically, and he said no, that's a terrible idea, and it would basically ensure that there would be a Democratic landslide, because he knows that his audience are a bunch of dipshits. And there's always been a sort of general sense that he fucking hates his audience, which I think is pretty understandable for someone like Nick Fuentes to probably really fucking hate his audience, because think about it for literally 3 seconds. If I had an audience of a collection of pedophiles and generally like miserable, ostensible fucking weirdos, I too would also not be a fan of that in particular. We all know that Nick Fuentes is absolutely a super far in the closet homosexual and would prefer to do literally anything possible to not interact with any of his fans and just like, I don't know, move to like West Hollywood or some shit or whatever gay part of New York and just, I don't know, fuck men in the ass or get fucked in the ass by men. Like, that's literally it. We know he hates women. He fucking hates women. He said that dating is gay, for fuck's sake. That dating women is gay. And we all remember the stream that he did with Catboy Kami, a Catboy Nazi, who has videos of himself with bad dragon dildos up his own asshole. with like all the fake cum and all that bullshit. We know that he constantly looked lovingly and staring consistently in his eyes. Bro is just a very in the closet homosexual fucking man. Many such cases with a lot of these fucking Nazis. But a Kyle Kulinski video. Now, Kyle Kulinski has a lot more of these sort of clips and screenshots that I wanted to also take a look at for all of this, that I was like way too lazy to find myself. But Kyle Kulinski did that. So, you know what? Take it away, Kyle. I believe in you.
We gotta talk about this. So, the other day, in fact, hold on, I'll give you the exact time frame. So, 2 months ago. So, 2 months ago, Nick Fuentes, he had did a segment on his show where he very clearly and very openly came out in favor of regime change in Venezuela. And I remember watching that segment and sort of being in awe, sort of being in shock. I'm like, why isn't this bigger? Because this guy's having like a real moment in the sun online. It appears like he's everywhere. You have a bunch of fucking freaks going, he's on a generational run, saying goofy shit like that. And I remember watching this going, like, what? Is something wrong with me? Like, here he is saying, like, no, I am actually pro-war and I like war with Venezuela and I think that is awesome, actually. And like, nobody talked about it. So I did a segment on it, again, about 2 months ago. My title was Nick Fuentes goes full warmonger in deranged rant. And if I'm not mistaken, even after this segment, he went on to repeat it like 2 or 3 more times. And so I remember watching this going, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm losing my mind here. Everybody's saying how he's like principal voice on the right, and he's the actual anti-war voice, and he better represents America first. He represents MAGA better than MAGA does. And then here he is going.
Even though that's not the case whatsoever, here is him coming out explicitly against regime change in Venezuela. Now, I would like to sort of see what these sort of like pretzels, these like dumbasses who have to tie themselves up in order to be able to justify this sort of position. Because again, this is not a principled anti-war position. Nick Fuentes is just a grifter. He doesn't believe in much of anything at all because, again, as Jean Paul Sartre once said, the anti-Semite gets to play with words. They know that they are being bad faith with their interlocutor, and they continue to engage in that bad faith, knowing that they are... I'm kind of butchering the quote here. Knowing that they get to play with words and inherently in bad faith, because they fundamentally understand that the person who's still constantly trying to engage with them in good faith, while they are obviously engaging in bad faith, they know that they can get away with that very, very easily because of, I don't know, sort of like, not like abusing, but being able to just be as bad faith as possible with the current interlocutor that they are engaging with. Which is why Sartre basically said, like, you should never engage with Nazis honestly. You should always just make fun of them and call them a bunch of smelly, stinky little fucking freaks, because that's exactly what they are. Again, what's going on? So you're for the Monroe Doctrine. You've talked about how it was a good thing that regime change was done by Donald Trump, but here are you saying in 2025, when you were putting up pushback against the Trump administration, saying that you're actually not for regime change. What happened to no new wars? Well, that's a little interesting. There's an inconsistency here. Because again, he's looking to separate himself from Donald Trump and the sort of MAGA movement to build his own political project. That is the point. And it's going to be populist, very stupid, and very anti-fucking Semitic. That's the point. He's just looking to grift more on the right. And he's now doing like, going back to like a neoconservative pivot again. For what purpose exactly? Because his positions are probably very, very unpopular, and he understands, like, maybe I may need to sort of moderate myself because a lot more Republicans are going sort of moderate. And I may need to moderate some of my language to certain extents in order to be able to try to gain more political power. But here's the thing with that may like potentially throw a wrench in all of that. He recently fucking defended Jeffrey Epstein. Like, Nick Fuentes says Epstein was cool as fuck and that he has accepted his role as a villain and doesn't care about being canceled. Jeffrey Epstein was cool as fuck. Now, obviously we all know Grifters are all pedophiles. Nick Fuentes has talked himself about how he's wanted a 14-year-old trad wife. Again, these people are all pedophiles, or wannabe fucking pedophiles. genuinely fucking insane, obviously. I don't know why he's saying this. This is, broadly speaking, not a popular position amongst conservatives. But then again, as Jean Paul Sartre said himself, let me grab the quote really quick. The anti-Semite have the right to play. They even like to play with discourse, for, by giving ridiculous reasons, they discredit the seriousness of their interlocutors. They delight in acting in bad faith, since they seek not to persuade by sound argument, but to intimidate and disconcert. Essentially what this is saying here is that you can never treat people like Nick Fuentes as an honest actor, and in fact, you should never debate someone like Nick Fuentes or Grifters because they could give less of a flying fuck about engaging in good faith, because they seek to just make fun of this people to be the sort of seriousness of their interlocutors. They never seek to engage in good faith whatsoever. There is no point in engaging with any of these people. I had a Groiper come into my chat as well and just say a bunch of stupid shit. You know what I did with him? I called him a fucking loser, made fun of him, and called him a little Nazi, little fucking weirdo freak, and then banned his ass. That's how you treat these people. You can't treat them honestly. They want to be treated honestly. Because, again, they understand that liberal media, if there's a big buzz about a particular segment, particular piece of discourse, will pick it up and pretend to treat it seriously. That's how it works within these sort of quote-unquote centrist sort of political media that currently exists in the United States. Very often, a lot of things which should not be debate, not up for fucking discussion, are very often up for discussion within political circles in the United States of America. Trans rights, queer rights, global warming. There are still debates going on all these topics when the science and the data and the statistics have been made clear. But again, the fascists and the anti-Semites still want to make a debate out of all of it because they don't want to see any of that shit be implemented because they are just against it. So they pretend to treat their sort of positions honestly and seriously, and since they are an incredibly loud, annoying minority with a lot of money behind them pushing these positions, there are positions that are allowed to grab hold and take hold within the broader sort of Republican constituencies, and stupid corporate centrist media now has to fucking take that shit seriously and still pretend to discuss it as a actual, real, serious topic, when in reality, it's not. They are just doing this because they want to basically have people fall in line with their positions, which are nonsensical, and because they want to dissuade people from improving the general material conditions of people on the ground. That is literally it. You cannot treat anything that these people say seriously. You present the argument saying like, you're wrong because of these reasons and you are stupid for fucking thinking like this. The science has been made clear on stuff like global warming and trans rights and a bunch of other bullshit. You are not a serious individual. You are silly and stupid looking to push a particular political agenda.
Going, hooray, war. So anyway, that was weird, right? Well, guess what? These moments are sort of popping back up because Trump, of course, as you all know, he followed through. He did an illegal regime change war where he abducted and kidnapped the president of a sovereign country, right? And, the point a lot of people are making, thankfully, like regular people are making this point is like, wait a second, is this really the world we want to live in? That any president of any country could kidnap, abduct a leader from another country, drag them to their country, and muck up some bullshit charges? So can China arrest Trump or J.D. Vance and drag them to China and muck up some charges? Like, this is a lawless world that we're talking about here, where there's no more Geneva Conventions, there's no more Nuremberg Tribunal, there's no more international law. Like, this is just law of the jungle, might make right. And right now, these people might feel more comfortable because we happen to be one of the...
Well, again, Nick Fuentes, because he's a Nazi, actually does like the lawlessness and law of the jungle sort of thing, might makes right stuff, because that's the idea, because all of his loser idiots think that the Ubermensch, so they're just going to inherently win in this fight because they think of themselves as the racially pure, perfect fucking stock who could win in a fight like that, when anything else could be further from the truth.
Countries of the world, the strongest countries, we have the biggest military, right? But history fucking changes all the time. There's gonna come a time where we're not the biggest economy, the biggest military, and all that stuff, right? So I don't know, maybe let's not go down this road because it's gonna come back to bite us in the ass as it does always throughout history. Well, anyway, this is the sort of shit that Nick was saying. Listen,
you don't get our oil. Says fucking who? We will come in and we will kill all of you. Our military will come in and wipe out your regime and we will take your oil.
So yeah, when I hear that, I hear George W. Bush, I hear Dick Cheney, I hear Trump. I hear fucking whose name shall not be mentioned because Nick salivates over this person, but like he was saying shit like that, and it's like, what? Excuse you? All right, well then, so when Trump does the deed and overthrows Maduro, okay, when Trump does that, what happens? Fuentes is out there posting American flags. USA, USA, hell yeah, fuck around, find out, bitch. That's what he's saying, right? Then Trump gives a press conference, and Trump at the press conference basically is like, we did it, we got Maduro, now we're gonna take the oil, the other thing is we're gonna run Venezuela, So he comes out and says we're gonna run it, which look.
Yeah, and broadly speaking, now that we have hindsight now, the oil companies themselves have said that they basically want nothing to do with this. Trump intended the oil companies to go in and invest about $100 billion to rebuild Venezuela's infrastructure and to basically start extracting oil and pushing it out to the market. First off, stupid for several reasons. Venezuela has very old infrastructure that's going to be difficult to replace. The time needed in order to be able to replace that, and the investment needed also to be to replace that, is going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. Something that all of the executives at this point, when Trump had that oil executive meeting, have stipulated like, it's just not worth it for us. The Exxon CEO, which is one of the United States' largest oil extraction companies, have said this. It's just like, it's just not worth it for us. So yeah, we want absolutely fucking nothing for this. Not to mention all the PR stuff. The optics of the situation would also make Exxon look really, really bad. So they're just like, no, we did all this bullshit in Iraq. We did all this bullshit already before. We don't want any of this smoke. We're not going to fucking deal with this. We're already probably a dying industry, so we're just going to try to look to turtle up and survive for as long as we can. Because that's like the only reason why Trump is doing this. He's looking to just prop up a dying industry. Another reason, American production of oil is like the top of the world because of all the technology discovered through fracking. American oil extraction and production is at peak in terms of the world. And I know that Trump is not very economically literate, but there's a funny little 3-word saying in economics. It's called supply and demand. I don't know if Trump knows this. I mean, he bankrupted his trust fund. He also has bankrupted 6 different businesses, so he may not understand this in particular, but if you provide too much supply of something, Trump, the demand of it will go down, and therefore the price of it also goes down. Shocker, I know.
Look, are you surprised? I'm not surprised. This motherfucker said we're gonna run Gaza too. We're gonna build casinos and hotels and big golden statues to Trump. We're gonna run Gaza. And he's making that happen too, by the way. He's allowing Israel to finish the genocide, the anti-cleansing, and fucking run Gaza. Okay, he sent $40 billion Argentina. He's now threatening Cuba and Colombia and fucking Panama and Greenland. He's doing all that, right? And so Fuentes sees the press conference with Trump saying that we're gonna run Venezuela, and all of a sudden he goes, I don't know about all that, bro. I mean, that might be a little bit too far. Oh, okay. So illegal wars, regime change, that's fine. But oh god, actually staying there and running the country, like, oh come on, bro, that's disgusting. Obviously what you do is the illegal war, the regime change, then you steal their shit and you get out, and then you have nothing to do with the country. You take their shit, you run away, and then you're good. I like the moral distinctions of a Groiper. Like,
it just doesn't work like that. This is like video game peasant brain thinking. Like, unironically, this is how like medieval barons used to think. Like, this is just not how that works. You can't just go in there and steal a bunch of oil and that's that. There's not like raids like that are just not a fucking thing anymore. Where you, because that's okay. I think that's what it honestly is. He's thinking as if this is like back during the 1500s and raids for cattle and like plunder and sort of slaves are meant to sort of basically go into a village, steal a bunch of people, blah 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 blah, and just get a bunch of booty, and that's that. It's like that's not how that works, right? That's not how it works. Cargo cult fascism, a YouTuber that I watch calls it. Post that in the Discord. I'm curious about that because I wonder if that has some kind of messaging also with Death Stranding, right? In Death Stranding, one of the antagonists throughout the world basically are a cult that fetishize the cargo that the I don't remember what the name of the couriers or the people that deliver cargo to the differing little settlements in the, I don't know, the time bomb blown out hellscape that is currently the United States within Death Stranding, and where you're trying to essentially rebuild the interstate system more or less, as like a community, shit like that. Death Stranding, right? I wonder if it's pulling from that specifically, the cargo cult fascism sort of bit, because I'm seeing the parallels here. I'm seeing the parallels.
Regime change in the illegal war, good. Taking their shit, good. But taking their shit and staying there to administer everything, bad. Okay, so then he says, initially it seemed like a solid operation to cleanly, bloodlessly, and quickly remove Maduro from power last night. As he says this, I see the mission accomplished banner behind George W. Bush's head, by the way. But this new policy of running Venezuela with U.S. soldiers sounds like a massive overcommitment. I have zero confidence in nation building. Big mistake. So, of course, his own people start to turn on him. And they start to turn on him pretty aggressively. So I quote tweeted.
Yeah, again, like, the reason why he's doing that is he just basically wants the... I don't know, like a Mongol sort of warlord, go into a village, rape, pillage, and plunder a bunch of, well, money, booty, cargo, whatever, resources for the sort of main sort of body, the main empire that's currently at home or some shit. Like, unironically, because again, he thinks like, because he wants to have like a return to medieval times, but then again, he's not consistent in any of this stuff because again, he's a fascist. They're never consistent on much of anything whatsoever. So, duh. It's fucking it's silly. It's ridiculous.
Him and I had him saying this. Watch.
I actually probably favor regime change in Venezuela.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I think that is a perfectly legitimate strategic goal of the United States. You know, we talk all the time about Israel and the war over there, and those are wars that don't benefit the United States. I actually think it would be beneficial if we had a pro-American regime in Venezuela.
Also, by the way, Nick, Venezuelans are all fucking Catholics. It should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about this fucking Catholic, quote-unquote, that he just wants to depose the leader of another Catholic fucking nation and just replace them with a Protestant one instead. Silly, stupid, I don't know. It's just nonsensical to me.
Probably would be good for us because of the resources they have.
But not like that. No, not like that. Don't do it like that. Oh my God. No,
It's
it wouldn't be beneficial
inconsistency.
for you if there's a pro-America regime in Venezuela. It's good for ExxonMobil and Chevron and Citgo and BP. It's good for the Epstein class, the billionaires. It's good for fucking corporate profits. It's good for Wall Street douchebags. That's what it's good for. The same people that are oppressing us here at home, they're the same people who will make out like bandits when they oppress the people of Venezuela and steal their natural resources right in front of their faces. We're gonna take your oil.
Yeah, not that I disagree with what Cal is saying here. He is correct in the, broader left-leaning populist rhetoric that he's saying out here. Groypers, take note. This is what actual consistency looks like. It wouldn't even be beneficial for them. They have all said, like, yeah, dog, we want fucking nothing to do with this shit. Absolutely the fuck not. We already produce way too much fucking oil. We can't push this all out to market. Replacing all the sort of equipment necessary within Venezuela is going to take us way too long. It's just not going to be worth it for us. Like, fuck that.
Oil, we're gonna take your mineral wealth, we're gonna take your precious metals, we'll take all your natural resources. Like, I don't, it's crazy to me to think like this is insane to me because he is smart enough to know that this actually doesn't in any way, shape, or form help us, help regular people. It doesn't. It helps the oil companies and the fucking billionaires. And everybody seems to get that except him. So again, regime change is okay, stealing their shit is okay.
Well, he's just a grifter, right? Like, just a grifter. It should not be treated seriously.
But administering it, come on, that goes too far. What are we talking about? So like I said, bro, his own people are fucking furious with him. But let's start with this one. Total Groyper collapse is underway. Nick Fuentes' own fans realize he is a Zionist and a neocon. Nick is getting ratioed on his own Telegram. So here's what Nick posted. Times like these really show you how stark the differences are between a reactionary America First nationalist movement and these left-wing anti-American turd worldists. Turd worldists. By the way, the reason he's so butthurt over this is because it was a lot of liberals and lefties that were mocking him for doing, like, cheering on the yay regime change, yay illegal wars, and then the second Trump's like, we're gonna run Venezuela, he fucking U-turns out that bitch in an instant. I didn't mean like this, bro. So everybody left and liberal was making fun of him, and so now he feels like burned by us, and so he's like, oh yeah, well you're turd worldists. Oh, you got us, bro. He continues.
I mean, bro, yeah, because you're being inconsistent. That's why people are making fun of you. You're inconsistent, bro. Like, but apparently all these dumbasses think he's been consistent for for the longest time ever. I don't know, like, have your, like, weirdo little orbiters fucking huff that copium for you, buddy, because you're not consistent on this whatsoever.
There was a moment when there was some apparent overlap, but now you see what's really going on. Many of these people don't even live in America, what? And are basically anti-colonialists. How dare it? We're anti-colonialism. Next thing you know, we'll also be anti-imperialism. How disgusting. Can you imagine being actually anti-war? So gross. America haters, we're America haters who do not want our country to succeed and actually want us to get in line. So if you're against another illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack...
By the way, this is what all these, like, dumbass fucking neocons say consistently. Consistently. By the way. They always say this, like, stupid fuck shit all the time about talking about how dare the left be against our imperialistic ambitions and anti-colonialist and being against our sort of ambitions. We just want to go to war and take and plunder resources for the behest of the military-industrial complex. Yeah, it's just like, okay, dude, nice fucking goddamn meme.
hack us and jacking natural resources for the Epstein class, you apparently don't want our country to succeed, according to Nick. I don't like that a Jewish oligarchy has taken control of America.
I mean, you know, Kyle, as you're talking about the Epstein class, but like, hindsight, obviously, this was made like about a month ago or some shit, right? No, this was made about like 2 weeks ago. Bro's apparently saying that fucking Epstein's cool as fuck now, which, I mean, it makes sense why dumbasses like this would think Epstein is cool as fuck, because Epstein raped kids and he wants to rape kids.
And used America to fight its wars. But that is because I like America and want America to be powerful and independent. Not because I am a hippie who thinks that America is the great Satan, and if we would just get out of the way, the UN could outlaw war. So I want you to notice something here. 2.6 thousand downvotes, only 1.9 thousand hearts. He's getting ratioed on his own fucking telegram. Because his own people are going, wait, when you used to talk about being anti-war, I actually meant that. I believe that. I actually don't want us to do stupid, illegal, offensive wars. By the way, nobody talks about, like, what does it actually mean to go to war? What does it actually mean? In order to do that, you need to have a standard. You need to have a criteria. You need to have principles around that, right? And so I've always said, the only time I'm okay with war is to defend against imminent attack. It's literally the most, like, standard, run-of-the-mill, common sense, logical approach to this stuff.
Damn, I wonder why most liberals and I guess most lefties are okay with sending a bunch of weapons to the Ukrainians. Because they're trying to defend their own territory from invasion by the Russians. An invasion that he's okay with. Doing these sort of like Mearsheimer IR politique and foreign sort of policy there specifically. Because, again, he's a fascist and he's inconsistent about everything. By the way, John Mearsheimer has also been inconsistent in terms of his beliefs in that as well. Because it turns out John Mearsheimer now gets paid by the fucking Russians. Who would have thought?
So, I'm only okay with war if it's to defend against imminent attack, or there's promise of attack. Like World War II, I would have done World War II. Why? They were fucking coming after us, right? What are these people, like these so-called anti-interventionist people on the right? What is actually your fucking standard? Because clearly you don't agree with us. You don't agree with... And by the way, they say we're isolationists. That's fucking bullshit. That's a smear word. Everybody knows it. Anti-interventionist or non-interventionist is what we are. Doesn't mean I'm literally a pacifist and against all war, period, in all circumstances. I just told you, I'm okay with defensive wars. This is not fucking defensive. So that's my standard. What's your fucking standard? And clearly Nick is fucking all over the place. People pulled up things that Nick said relatively recently, where it's like, you should always side against the U.S. State Department. If you're ever agreeing with the State Department, you're a fucking, like, lackey for the regime. And then here he is, fucking loving the State Department line, right? Loving the neocon line, loving the Zionist line. Yes, fucking absolutely, Netanyahu loves this war. He wants the U.S. to get all the Venezuelan oil so that we would be protected from a supply shock if Iran shuts down the Strait of Hormuz and blocks Middle Eastern oil from getting to us if there's a bigger war in Iran. So in order for him to get his regime change, which in Iran, the U.S. would need to take Venezuela's oil so that we are protected from a supply shock when Iran comes off the Strait of Hormuz. He knows this. Nick knows this. But he's...
That's not false, though, right? That is another reason why. Because Benjamin Netanyahu was talking about, like, this is a great thing because, you know, the IRGC was operating within Venezuela, blah, blah, blah. You know, he said all the, like, schizo neocon sort of bullshit. But no, it's because he wants the United States, as well as himself, to do also regime change within Iran, in reality.
Still, of course, supports the illegal regime change in Iran, just not running it afterwards. How moral of him. All right, more. I watched an interview with the Jew Jeffrey Epstein recently, Jesus Christ, who is glazed by Napolitano, who's a libertarian, and Tucker constantly. The guy is a literally shaking liberal chudjack, I think that's supposed to say, seething about Trump and celebrating how the 500-year cycle of European domination is coming to an end, and how all humanity can thrive without white violence. These are the non-interventionists and libertarians and other elements that we are dealing with. And by the way, they all hate anti-Semites and Nazis and white nationalists. This is him going, please, audience, forgive me for being pro-Venezuela war. These other guys who are making better points on this, they actually hate Nazis, so they're not cool. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. So again, 2.1 thousand dislikes, 1.7k likes. So his own people are not fucking buying what he's selling right now. They're not. They're just not. Give you another example. This guy, Liger, says, and I think this guy, you know, these are like actual other anti-Semites and white nationalists. I think a lot of these guys are. Hey, Nick Fuentes, I'm one of the guys who's been going...
Yeah, this is actually true. I'm glad that Kyle Kulinski's pointing out that this guy is also an anti-Semite and white nationalist. Eddie Liger Smith is one of these ACP fucking weirdos who are just nothing but fascists. The actual sort of ideological endpoint of Marxism-Leninism are like your Jackson Hinkle types, Haas, all these like ACP fucking weirdos who pretend under the guise of Marxism to be sort of anti-interventionist and anti-war, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, it's all just the exact same, like, idiot campus sort of bullshit. And they always talk about how they're okay with Russian imperialism, Chinese imperialism. They're not actually on the left. They are just fascists with a differing coat of paint.
Going viral calling America the Great Satan recently. I noticed you said we're all hippie foreigners who want to destroy America, but I'm a red-blooded Midwestern patriot who's whiter than you. When I say the Great Satan, I'm talking about the U.S. government and the owning class.
Oh, also, yeah, they're also very anti-Semitic and racist. That's where they have a lot of overlap with fascists.
That these people are a bunch of Jewish oligarchs, but then you turn around and promote their agenda in practice, i.e. the invasion of Venezuela to install a Zionist dictator. Every day more and more of your own fans are seeing that I stand on business while you go wherever the wind blows. The more time passes, the more your grift will be exposed. Hit me up if you're not too terrified to debate these issues. I'm down anytime, anywhere. It's messages like this that I'm seeing everywhere. And look,
I mean, again, Eddie Liger Smith also is just a grifter and will go with wherever the wind is going. He also does not really believe in much of anything because I think all these ACP fucking weirdos are also just grifters.
The point is very simple. Nick Fuentes would always use similar arguments when talking about other wars. He would always say, like, what are we doing? Why are we wasting blood? Why are we wasting treasure over there? Why are we bogged down overseas? Don't we have problems here at home? Isn't inflation going up? Isn't unemployment going up? Isn't healthcare way too fucking expensive? Aren't people struggling here to pay the bills? Right? And so we got all that going on, and we're sending $40 billion to Argentina, and we're fucking bombing shit in the Middle East for what? What's the point? I thought America first actually meant America first. Call me crazy. Right? So that's what people are saying. Like, dude, all the arguments you made against wars in the Middle East, like, they also apply to doing war in fucking Venezuela. Like, that's also bad. And he goes, but it's in our hemisphere, so it's different. Really? That's the best you can do? It's in our hemisphere?
Well, it's because these people do unironically believe in the Monroe Doctrine. Like, unironically. It's again, it's LARP shit, right? Pax Americana. Like, that's what it is. It's Roman Imperator sort of nonsense, but with, like, an American coat of paint, right? That's the point. These people, again, like I've said before, the fascist is just a liar. They will just say a bunch of random bullshit that they believe is inherently consistent with their ideology. But we all know what Nick Fuentes is trying to do. He's trying to carve out a sort of political movement for himself, some kind of a niche, some kind of a way to go forward when, again, MAGA inevitably dies off because of the current rotting carcass, because of the current figurehead, that being Donald Trump. Well, he's about to die off because he's really fucking old.
So all those times Trump railed against the war in Iraq, it was stupid. That was a beauty right there. What he really meant to say was that war was stupid, but only because it's not in our hemisphere. If it was in our hemisphere, then it would have been great. It would have been awesome. It would have been worth it to lose thousands of soldiers' lives and kill hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians over there. And it would have been worth it to waste $7 trillion as long as it was in our hemisphere. No, that's a fucking bullshit reason. And also, by the way, our hemisphere. This is like when they say, this is our backyard. No, bitch, it's not our backyard. It's your neighbor's house. That's what it is. That's not your backyard. That's your neighbor's house. You're stealing your neighbor's house, and you're saying to your neighbor, this is technically my backyard. No, it's not, fucking asshole. No, it's not. Oh, you want to get some of the mineral wealth and the precious metals and the...
By the way, that's the exact same thing that all the Zionists that these motherfuckers apparently hate so much do within the West Bank of fucking Palestine. We all know the famous video of that one dude who decided to, like, wander in to a home of Palestinians saying, like, no, this is actually my house. What the fuck are you guys doing here? Get out. And they're just like, what the hell is this? Like, the Palestinians understandably being incredibly fucking confused, saying, like, why are you here? This is our house. We've always lived in this house. We've lived in this house for generations. Why the hell are you here? Get out of our house. Don't fucking squat. And he's just like, no, this is actually my house. The state of Israel said it is. Exact same fucking logic.
Oil from Venezuela, fucking make a deal with them like any sane, reasonable person. I guarantee you, there's a reasonable price where they'd be willing to sell it and they'd be happy to get it. But no, we have to fucking steal it and jack it and loot and pillage because the fucking Epstein class, the billionaire class, are complete dead-eyed psychopaths who are part of a billionaire, pedophile, rapist cabal. Like, literally, and they run everything. Finally,
Sure.
he posted this. So this, for those of you who don't know, this right here is called the technate of America. It's the technocracy movement is what it is, okay? You know what that is? This was in the 1930s, I believe. And actually, Elon Musk's grandfather was a big part of this. And the technate of America is this idea, like, democracy is dead, democracy...
Also, yeah, by the way, deport all the Mexicans, deport all the Venezuelans, but take over all their territory where they're living in there. Like, I thought you wanted to fucking have a deportation regime. You wanted to remigrate all these people. Now you want to fucking take over their territory or something? Like, it makes no fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense because it's not supposed to make any sense inherently because the fascists are just stupid. They just want to play with fucking words. It's like literally all that it is.
Is outdated. Democracy is not going to get us where we need to go. Let's scrap democracy and let's usher in basically a system where we have corporate CEO fiefdoms around the country. They believe big...
Same shit that Curtis Yarvin is pushing. If I were to understand, this is probably where he got the idea that America needs to just be run by a CEO instead, right? Unironic, just monarchist fucking bullshit. It's like, it's the Looney Tunes libertarian sort of bullshit where it's just like, well, if we have a dispute, my lawyers are going to get with your lawyers and they're going to work it out in court. It's like, well, that's not how exactly that works, to be quite honest, because it's just like, well, then what if our lawyers don't want to make, like, those sort of arguments? Would they have to get their own lawyers then or something? And then would they have to get their own lawyers? It's just stupid. It's nonsensical. It doesn't work because it's just a stupid system. But then again, these people are unironic, like, medieval-brained fucking peasants. They believe in wanting to have some restoration of what they saw as, like, the better times during the, I don't know, like, Carolingian Empire or some shit, and want some kind of, like, restoration of, I don't know, like, Charlemagne the Great or some shit. Because this is unironically how he's thinking. He wants, like, a Charlemagne the Great sort of figure to go around and conquer the entirety of the Western fucking hemisphere for America or some shit.
Big time in technology and science, which, by the way, who does that sound like? fucking Peter Thiel, all these transhumanist freaks who want to make people cyborgs, and they don't believe in, humanity continuing, and they want AI to take everybody's job, and they want your consciousness to be fucking downloaded into a computer, and they want you to be a fucking slave peasant to them, and they think they have the divine right of kings to rule. So that's what they want. These little corporate fiefdoms, where Peter Thiel can be your emperor in this area, fucking Elon Musk can be your emperor in that area, and it includes territorial expansion, where you have, Greenland, for example, becomes part of the USG. Who has Trump been threatening lately? Cuba becomes part of the USG. Who has been Trump threatening lately? Venezuela becomes part of the USG. Who has Mexico becomes part of the USG. Who has Trump been threatening lately? All these, you see what Trump is doing? He's listening to his AI tech oligarch owners, and they want him to create the tech nation of America, create technocracy, turn the keys over to them, where they actually run shit, they actually control shit. You're a slave peasant with no rights, blackmailed and surveilled by these CEO assholes, and we no longer live in a democracy. And they expand to all of these areas around us, right? And that's what this map represents. And here's Nick Fuentes posting this in support of it, saying, no, I actually like this idea. So Mr. Anti-War, apparently he was only anti-war for just a couple of the little ones from before. But
it's surprise. I thought, by the way, fucking Nick Fuentes would have hated these like weird tech CEO oligarchs or something. What happened? That they were all controlled by quote unquote like Jewish interests or whatever the fuck. What happened? We're being very, very consistent here, Nick Fuentes, in terms of our ideology. Again, because we're bringing up the fucking quote by Jean Paul Sartre. The anti-Semites have the right to play. They even like to play with discourse, for by giving ridiculous reasons, they discredit the seriousness of their interlocutors. They delight in acting in bad faith, since they seek not to persuade by sound argument, but to intimidate and disconcert. That's the entirety of the point of this. These people are not inherently fucking honest actors. Period. End of story. They do not care about being honest actors, because the entirety of the point of this is that they think that they are morally superior by their own sort of blood or whatever the fuck bullshit you can come up with. They think that they're just inherently superior because they just think that they're better because they are of a better genetic stock in their mind. I've seen what Grifters look like. Not the fucking case. All these people are like ugly, smelly looking fucking weirdos.
But the ones that we're doing now, by the way, this is what it means to be a conservative. Notice, this always happens. Whenever it's the previous war, I'm against that, that was immoral, that was unethical. Whenever it's the current war, it's like, yippee skippy, I love war, yay! It always happens like that. Being a leftist is being correct too early.
It's, by the way, same thing with fucking liberals here. But then again, distinction without a difference, but yeah, distinction without a fucking difference. Like, dude, it's so fucking cooked, bro. And yeah, Kyle Kulinski is correct here, again, saying that lefties were always right, but they were right too early. Yet again.
And everybody hating you for it. That's what it is. We're always correct too quickly, and everybody hates us for it, right?
Yep.
And eventually it becomes the opposition. The war in Iraq, everybody, oh, of course that was stupid. Well, you're gonna say the same shit about fucking Venezuela in 10 years or 20 years, whatever the fuck it is. Of course. But now in the moment, look who fucking falls in line. Look who falls in line. And so you're not anti-war. You're just not. Like, you might, when you're branding yourself to become mass appeal, you might say that. Isn't it interesting? In order for right-wingers to get big audiences, they have to try to jack our issues, the lefty issues. They know we actually have popular issues, so they jack those, but then when it's not convenient, they just fucking toss it aside, and now he's all on board with the, billionaire, pedophile, rapist cabal taking over vast swaths of territory and stealing all the natural resources and subjugating all the people.
I mean, consistently speaking, that's what fascists have always done. Nazis have done this as well, right? Like, taking issues that the left believes in, such as union rights, workers' rights, blah, 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 adopting it for themselves, then once they get into power, dropping it, right? Even in the Jubilee debate with Mehdi Hassan, that Pine Sap individual made it rather fucking clear. It's like, yeah, we want to use free speech to get into power and then take away free speech rights. Really? Like, you thought that we were going to keep that shit in place? Absolutely the fuck not. We don't want you people to be able to speak on anything whatsoever.
People, including you and me, by the way, including you and me. So he posed the tech native America, right? Look at his response. Step 1, deport Mexicans to Mexico. Step 2, annex Mexico and make all Mexican citizens of New America. Like, at this point, he hasn't even thought any of this shit through. He's just trolling. And now the fact that his audience is shitting on him is making him double down and triple down and fortify himself further. It actually is very reminiscent to what's happening with Alex Jones right now, too. Where Alex Jones is warring with his own audience, meat-riding Trump into oblivion, just meat-riding Trump raw, dog. Just unbelievable. Alex Jones is defending Peter Thiel, defending Donald Trump, supporting regime change in Venezuela, supporting the oil company stealing all the wealth from Venezuela. So Alex is warring with his audience and also going after Candace Owens. Nick is now warring with his audience. The right is ripping themselves to shreds. And as I always say, you guys, you love to see it. And this is what happens when your leader is a sundowning, dementia-laden, fucking early Alzheimer's having, pedophile rapist who's protecting the Epstein class at all costs. He's got a 35% approval.
Well, Kyle's not exactly incorrect here, but it's the Ouroboros of fascism. Because of how nonsensical and ridiculous their position is, because it's not honest, and they're just saying these things because they just want to get into power, it inevitably is going to be a snake eating its own fucking tail. Again, the Ouroboros, where they are always going to descend into infighting with one another because the position, fundamentally speaking, has a fraught and fraying foundation. It's just nonsensical to begin with. to try to justify it is just ridiculous. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? This is just silly. It's ridiculous. Like, what are you saying? Like, this is unsustainable. Like, what the fuck are you... Like, what do you mean? It's unsustainable. It's inconsistent from the beginning. So when they take power to try to implement it, they see like, oh, actually, it turns out doing this might be a lot harder than we thought. And it always descends into inherent infighting. With people saying like, oh, well, I blame you for not doing this properly. Well, I blame you for not doing this or not believing in this, yada, yada, yada. It always descends into inherent infighting. Again, the same thing with like the Nazis in terms of like their pursuit for racial fucking purity. Because eventually, they're just going to start going after people, subsets of people within their own race. Looks like you got fucking brown hair. That the tone of your green eyes, don't really like that. Kills all those people specifically with like brown hair and fucking green eyes, for example. This specific shade of blonde and blue, don't really like that. Get rid of that as well. Again, it's inherently inconsistent. What is this? That's true. I've seen these fucking posts before. They are genuinely fucking insane.
He's failing on literally every front. The most corrupt president we've ever seen by far. It's not even close. Hit 18 million people off Medicaid, tripling the price of your healthcare premiums, casually like it's nothing, blocking the ACA, subsidies, all these horrible things, freezing the fucking food stamp money, freezing 94 million pounds of food aid. This was going to be, they were starving during the holidays. All these fucking things. And now he decides to do this to distract from the Epstein files and try to get a W on the board. But guess what? You did the proper propaganda work, and now people are already against it, even though you succeeded in your mission. So this is what happens when you're at 35%, and everybody starts pointing fingers at everybody else. But it's good to see that his own people are fleeing him 1,000 miles an hour over this. So that's what you get. That's what you get, man. And finally, I want to give you this. This guy, Antunes, I don't know how to say his name here. Antunes, he's one of these big, white nationalist posters. He's a big Fuentes guy. This guy's a big Fuentes guy, okay? So he posted, Fuentes posted little Tech Native America. This guy posting the same thing, effectively. He says, inevitable, it shows the U.S.
Dude, this is the same shit from fucking Code Geass. They just want to build Britannia from fucking Code Geass. Like, unironically. This is what these fucking weirdo freaks want to build. Like... yes, Pax Americana. We're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want because we're America and we're heckin' cool and epic like that. It's stupid. It's nonsensical. Again, like you guys want to remigrate all the fucking immigrants that come from Central and South America, only to take over all their fucking territory. Like, what are you gonna like? Where are you gonna remigrate them then instead? Out of like fucking Britannia or something? Like, again, it's nonsensical. It's stupid. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's AI generated fucking dog shit as always because these people are just grifters. They don't believe in anything. They just want to fucking vice signal and try to get dunks on the fucking libs. That's like literally it. They believe in absolutely fucking nothing.
Territory, right? Trading the Tech Native America. And somebody quote tweets him and replies with this. This is what he was saying not that long ago. Americans don't want to colonize Canada or Greenland. Trump, meme coins, slave away for Israel, or bomb Venezuela. Americans want mass deportations, clean cities, free speech, Americanism over globalism. It's that simple. So not that long ago.
Oh, man. Classic. Every single fucking time with these people. They believe in nothing. Again, same fucking thing. They just play with words, give ridiculous reasons to try to discredit the seriousness of their interlocutors in order to be able to just try to intimidate people into their position. That's the point. These people are not serious. You just make fun of them. You call them stupid fucking morons. That's it. You call them ridiculous. You call them weak-chinned fucking loser incels who thought that they peaked in fucking high school and are just mad about the fact that Stacy chose Chad or Tyrone over their fucking goofy-looking head asses. You treat these people like what they are, and that is incredibly fucking unserious.
Ago, it was Americans don't want to colonize Canada or Greenland, and they don't want Trump meme coins, and they don't want to bomb Venezuela. So not that long ago, I'm against war, I'm anti-war. But look at that. Nick Fuentes, who also virtue signaled like he was anti-war, then flipped on it. Now, this guy does the same thing. Another one of these white nationalists who does the same thing. So look, I mean, bottom line is, you can't trust these people, right? I'm just saying, if you happen to actually be anti-war, you cannot trust these right-wingers. You can't. You can't. The only right-wingers you can trust to actually be anti-war are the principled libertarians. But going hand in hand with that is they also support child labor in factories, so still not a good idea to be a libertarian, right? So I'm just warning you, if you're actually anti-war and you are right-wing, the gauntlet is thrown down, bro. These people aren't actually about that life. They're not actually anti-war. They're not actually against the billionaire class. They're not actually trying to improve your life. What fucking plans do they have to improve your life? Oh, mass deportation. Trump is doing them and your lives are getting worse. It's that simple. He's doing them, your lives are getting worse. I saw a bunch of fucking Gestapo criminal thugs. They're literally sexually assaulting a bunch of the people that they're arresting illegally. They're deporting innocent people. They're assaulting grandmas and running over people with cars and tear gassing babies.
People are starving in fucking camps, unironically, but then again, Fuentes is okay with that because he wants people to starve in camps.
He's an assaulting journalist. They're doing all these things. Your life is getting worse. the right-wingers are just wrong. They're not correct. Immigration is the main problem. No, the problem is billionaires. The problem is corruption. The problem is corporate power. That's the problem. We have to defeat them. We have to get money out of politics. We need to do Medicare for all and free college and a living wage. We need to end the wars. We need a Green New Deal. We need a 4-day work week. We need Social Security for everybody. We need unions for everybody so you get higher pay and you get more time off and better benefits. This is what we need. It's not fucking rocket science. It's not rocket science. But the right has no solutions that are real solutions. All they have is blame the gay people, blame the immigrants, blame the trans people, blame the black people. And I'm anti-war, but also just kidding. I'm actually really pro-war. It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. So pick your side. All right, guys. That's the show, y'all. I love y'all very much. You guys know the drill. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel. You can also click that bell icon so you get a
Very, very good. Very cool. But shouldn't be really surprising whatsoever. Oh, a right-winger is lying about literally everything. These people should not be fucking believed. Oh, Nazis are liars about everything. They believe in nothing. They just want to pretend and play with words because that's their whole sort of political shtick. Because they know their positions are inherently ridiculous, but they keep saying them and try and basically not teach any honest, or try to basically treat any honest interlocutor as, I don't know, inherently fucking ridiculous with their seriousness, because it is all about coercion with these people. That's it. That's literally the point, because they think that they are the ones that belong on the top of the hierarchy because of their fucking gene stock or whatever the fuck, because they have the proper blood in their minds, despite the fact that they are inevitably going to always start killing themselves within their own movements because they don't think that they're perfectly racially pure enough or something. It's stupid. It's inherently fucking ridiculous. These people believe in nothing. It's just nonsensical. And you should never trust anything that comes out of the mouths of these complete, utter fucking charlatans, because they are all fucking liars and have always consistently been nothing more than a bunch of fucking liars. Never believe anything that comes out of the mouth of these groiper Nazi fucking freaks. Don't think there's really much else to say besides fuck these weirdo pedophile rapists.